Hi, I just want to show you how to use OneNote to solve harder equations. I'm not sure if you will ever be asked to convert a 3x3 matrix, but I'm pretty sure you need to know if you're doing further maths A level. So here I have a matrix, and so I select the matrix and then I go to Insert and press on the Math button. Now what is available is the determinant, and here we have the result, the inverse of that matrix. But as you know, there are quite a few steps before you can get to the final answer. If you look here, they don't show you the method and all the steps, so you still have to work out all the minors and all the cofactors, and the only way to get around this is by putting in the minors of this matrix, put it in this format, and then when you select again, they will only evaluate the determinant for you, but they will not evaluate the minus for each one of this. So you have to do, so what you need is you need to highlight each one and then evaluate. So it's 1 for this one, and then you do the same for the next one. And once you have all the minors for this matrix, you can then work out the cofactors. But at least we know for 3x3 matrix we can have the final results. So if I press this one more time, that is the final result for the matrix, for 3x3 matrix. So in order to get the result, you need some help from here to calculate determinant, or maybe help you to transpose the matrix as well. And with this part here, I'm just showing you how to find the minus, and then you can, once you've got all the minus, you can then work out the cofactors individually by alternating the sign. Okay, so here I have 3 equations. I just want to see, when I press the math button, what will this give me? Right, it will solve for x, y, and z, and then the method is using substitution, but I do not want to solve this using the substitution method, so the matrix method is not available here. So what I've done is I rewrite this in terms of a matrix, and when I press on the math button again, solve, and then steps, it still doesn't show me the steps. So what I need to do, I will then have to work out the inverse of that matrix, like how I demonstrated at the beginning, and then solve. Right, how about this one here? I want to find A. So I press here, and it's solved for me, A and B. Again, it doesn't show you the steps, so it's something you need to be able to show to others. Right, as we know, this matrix to the power of 2 is the same as this matrix times it by this matrix again. I'm just checking the result to make sure it does pick up the correct answer. So when I evaluate, it gives me the identity. So it should be the same when I press the math button for this matrix. Evaluate, yeah, it does give me the identity. So I would say this is quite a powerful tool, but to a certain extent, you still have to know your mathematics and then be able to pick up whatever you need before you can press the math button and get the result. Okay, so here I'm subtracting two matrices. I would expect this matrix to give me 0. But not only 0, so it only give me 0, but strictly speaking, it should give me a 2 by 2 matrix with all 0 inside. So again, this is something you need to be able to know when you come to the explanation. As you can see here, this should be the final result, 0, 0, 0, 0 here. Okay, so this is matrix A, and then I'm just adding them together, which is the same as 2A. And I'm going to evaluate. So I have this. And then, or I can times it by 2, and it should also give me this result here. But let's check and see. So I evaluate again. Indeed it does. Okay, so again I am multiplying two matrices together, AA, which should be the same as this one here. Right, how about an inverse matrix? So this is an inverse of A. So I would expect the inverse times it by the original matrix A, that will produce the identity. So if I press on the math button and then evaluate, indeed it does give me the identity. Right, how about if I put it in this form here? So as we know, this is a 2 by 1 matrix plus a scalar, I'll call it K, times it by a 2 times 1 matrix again. And what I want here is the value for K. So I'll just press on the math button. Wonderful. Okay, it gives me the result. But again, it doesn't show me the steps. So this is something we need to be able to show. Okay, just want to make sure you picked up the correct symbol when you try to type the matrix. So if you just use the bracket, so let's go to the equation tools. Now if you go to structure and you just simply, let's say, pick brackets here. And let's say you just pick one that looks right. So let's say you pick this one here. That's how I get this one here. That's how I get the symbol. And then I put in 2, 3. Okay, that's why I have this together. As we know, when we express the matrix, a 2 times 1 and 2 times 1 matrix, it looks like that in writing. But when I evaluate, so when I go back to the math button and evaluate, it doesn't give me the result. It picks up as a fraction. So that is not the way to type the symbol when you are dealing with matrices. So let's look at the one underneath. So what's the difference? Let's put an action. Now this time they pick this up as a matrix 7, 10. So you need to be very mindful if you work with matrix. When you type the function, if I just show you, go to equation tools, go to structures, make sure the structure is in form of a matrix. So you must pick this one here, and then select an empty matrix here, because this isn't, even though it hasn't got a bracket, but this is for 2 times 1 matrix. So you need to use this one here, and then key in the figure. Right, the next one, okay, I've used the equation tools again, and this is how it should look when you try to work out evaluate the matrix. So let's put a math operation and then evaluate. Now it doesn't pick up. Yeah, it does pick up as a matrix. So now I'm going to, let's say I want to find the inverse matrix. So here we go. So I know for sure I can also use this type of bracket to represent matrix. Now clearly the one underneath is for determinant, and OneNote picked this one up quite well. So I press the math button again, and what is available is the determinant, minus 21. Right, I'm just checking if I raise this to the power 3, it should give me the answer on the right hand side. So I'm just show you the answer. So press on math and then perform the operation, evaluate. Indeed, it does give me 1601. Now, so as you can see, the 6 is the 2 times it by the 3. So if I perform an action on this, I would expect the result to be 1 and then 2k, 0 and 1. And let's see if that is the case. So when I press on the math button, evaluate, it doesn't evaluate, it doesn't pick up. So this is something you need to be able to recognize. There is a limitation when it comes to do the complicated stuff. Right, the one underneath is a 1 by 3 times by 3 times 1 matrix. So again, I've used the correct structure when I type in the information from the equation tools box. Now I'm just going to press on the math button and it will evaluate for me. Here we go. So this is the result, because I would expect the result to be 1 by 1, which is a single figure, minus 16. And then the next one, I would expect the result to be a 2 by 2 matrix. So press on math, evaluate again. Here we go, it's a 2 by 2 matrix. Right, the next one is a 2 by 2 matrix, times it by a 1 times 3 matrix. So now this one here, it doesn't pick up. Why this is the case? Because they are of different size. So at the end of the day, you still have to know your maths, but I do find this very powerful in a certain extent. So please use it effectively.